Some places on Earth look so unreal, they feel like a glitch in the Matrix. And the craziest part, they actually exist. Here are 7 places on Earth that don't feel real. Place 1. Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia. Salar de Uyuni in Bolivia is one of the most unreal places on Earth, not because it's edited, but because it's basically a giant mirror. Most of the year it looks like a never-ending white desert, flat, bright, and empty. But when the rainy season hits, a thin layer of water spreads across the surface. And because the ground is almost perfectly level, the sky reflects so cleanly that the horizon disappears. You're not looking at a lake, you're looking at the entire sky sitting on the ground. The crazy part is, this mirror is huge. Salar de Uyuni is the largest salt flat on the planet, and it was formed from ancient lakes that dried up thousands of years ago. What's left is a thick crust of salt, and underneath it, minerals that the modern world is obsessed with. And when people walk out there during the reflection season, it messes with your brain. Your sense of distance breaks. A person far away can look like they're floating in the clouds. Cars can look like they're driving through the sky. It's beautiful, but it's also disorienting, because there are almost no landmarks, and the light can be blinding. This is one of those places that makes you feel like reality has a graphics glitch. Like the Earth forgot to render the ground, and just copied the sky instead. Place 2. Blood Falls, Antarctica. Welcome to Antarctica, the coldest, driest, and most isolated place on our planet. It's a world of pure white and deep blue. Except for one spot that looks like it's straight out of a horror movie. They call it Blood Falls. Located in the McMurdo Dry Valleys, a deep red liquid flows from the Taylor Glacier into the snowy lake below. For a long time, early explorers thought it was red algae. Others were genuinely convinced that the Earth itself was bleeding. And honestly, looking at these photos, you can't really blame them. But science recently solved the mystery, and the truth is even weirder. Trapped deep under the glacier for 2 million years is a secret lake, completely isolated from light, air, and the rest of the world. Because it has no oxygen, this water is filled with incredible amounts of iron. As soon as this water seeps through the cracks and touches the air, it instantly oxidizes. Imagine a nail rusting in slow motion. That's exactly what's happening here, but on a massive, natural scale. The water turns a vivid blood red the second it hits the atmosphere. But here is the creepiest part. There is life in that water. Despite having no light, no warmth, and extreme salt levels, scientists found ancient microbes surviving in that underground lake for millions of years. This place is so strange that NASA actually uses it to study how life might look on Mars or Jupiter's moons. It's not blood, but it's a portal to a world that hasn't seen the sun in 2 million years. Place 3. Socotra Island. If you fell asleep and woke up on Socotra Island, you'd probably think aliens had kidnapped you and dropped you on another planet, located between Somalia and Yemen. This island is so isolated that more than 1/3 of its plants are found nowhere else on Earth. It's like a biological laboratory that's been running in total isolation for millions of years. The most famous resident here is the dragon blood tree. They don't look like trees. They look like giant green mushrooms or umbrellas turned inside out. Their thick, tangled branches create a flat canopy that catches every drop of mist from the morning air. But why are they called dragon blood? Because if you cut the bark, a thick, dark red resin starts to leak out. Ancient civilizations believed it was the actual dried blood of dragons, and they used it for everything, from medicine and dye to magic rituals. And the landscape is just as weird. You'll find bottle trees with bulbous, swollen trunks that look like huge legs growing out of the rocks. Then there are white sand dunes that crash against turquoise water, and jagged mountains that look like they belong in a fantasy novel. Socotra feels like a place where evolution took a completely different path. It's a living time capsule, showing us what nature can create when it's left alone in the middle of the ocean. Place 4. Catatumbo Lightning. Now let's go to a place where the sky basically refuses to stay quiet. Over Lake Maracaibo in Venezuela, there's a phenomenon called Catatumbo lightning, a storm system so active that for certain months of the year, lightning can strike the area night after night, sometimes for hours at a time. Imagine standing near the water in total darkness, and the clouds keep flashing like someone is turning on a giant strobe light in the sky. No fireworks, no city lights, just nature, repeatedly firing electricity overhead. And this isn't just one lucky night. This region is famous because the conditions line up in a very specific way. Warm, humid air rises from the lake, winds push it toward the surrounding mountains, and the atmosphere becomes the perfect engine for huge thunderstorms. The geography basically traps the weather and forces it to build, again and again. Historically, sailors used these storms like a natural lighthouse. People have even claimed you could see the flashes from far away out at sea. It's one of the rare places on Earth where the night sky can look alive, like it's constantly breathing with light. But the weirdest part is the feeling it gives you. When lightning keeps flashing without stopping, it doesn't feel like normal weather anymore. It feels programmed. Like the sky is glitching on repeat. And if you think that's unreal, the next place looks like the surface of an alien planet. Place 5, Danakil Depression, Dallo. If you want to see what another planet might look like, you don't need a spaceship. You just need to survive a trip to Ethiopia. This is the Danakil Depression, one of the hottest and most extreme places on Earth. Parts of it sit below sea level, and in some areas the ground looks like it's melting into neon colors, bright yellows, toxic greens, and burnt oranges. One of the strangest spots here is called Dallo, and it looks fake. Like someone spilled paint across the desert and added steam for special effects. But it's real, and it's happening because the Earth's chemistry is basically exposed on the surface. Hot water rises from underground, carrying minerals and salts. When that water hits the air, it leaves behind crusty salt formations, sulfur crystals, and pools that can be extremely acidic. Some of the water is so chemically intense that it can look like glowing green slime. And this is not just weird looking. This environment is so harsh that scientists study it as a possible analogy for places like Mars, because if life can survive here, it might survive almost anywhere. The Danakil Depression feels like the planet is unfinished. Like you're walking on a place that should not be exposed to humans at all. And the scary part is Earth has more places like this. Place 7, the door to hell. Deep inside the Karakum Desert in Turkmenistan, there is a giant hole in the ground that has been burning non-stop for over 50 years. They call it the door to hell, and once you see it at night, you'll understand why. This is the Darvaza gas crater. It's over 200 feet wide and 70 feet deep, glowing with a constant, fiery light that you can see from miles away. But the craziest part about this place is that it wasn't created by a volcano or a meteor. It was actually caused by a human mistake. In 1971, Soviet engineers were drilling for oil when the ground beneath their rig suddenly collapsed, creating a massive crater that started leaking poisonous methane gas. To prevent the gas from spreading to nearby villages, the engineers decided to set it on fire, thinking it would burn out in a few weeks. That was over half a century ago. The fire has never stopped. Standing on the edge of this crater feels like looking directly into a furnace. The heat is so intense, and the sound of the burning gas is so loud, that it feels completely unnatural, like a portal to some subterranean underworld that our planet was trying to keep hidden. It's one of those rare spots on Earth that reminds us how easily we can tear a hole in reality. Some places look like glitches ... but this one is a scar.
Subscribe to keep upgrading your brain. See you in the next one.